The Pixel 5 from last year didn't really live up to some people's expectations, but even so, it kind of seems ridiculous to be even suggesting that after 12 months, someone should upgrade to the Pixel 6. But even so, we're here to examine whether this is a thought you might be having or should even be having, and if it's worth switching to the newer, more powerful device. Thanks for watching 9to5Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then tap the bell icon to be notified about all our future uploads. 2021 is a big shift for the Pixel with the introduction of Tensor and some massive improvements over the Pixel 5, at least on paper. While last year's Pixel focuses on the building a device that resolved some of the glaring issues of past devices, then backing it with the best possible software, this year it's a completely different story. Things are different with the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. The focus this year is upon a true out-and-out end-to-end flagship made by Google smartphone. And while the Pixel 5 felt like a reset, the Pixel 6 series seems more like a rebirth, and all for the same entry price as last year's mid-ranger. From a sheer benchmark perspective, the Pixel 6 absolutely obliterates the Pixel 5. Even so, there are some internal and external similarities that you might be surprised by. So to summarise, the Pixel 5 and the non-Pro version of the Pixel 6 share some DNA, but with some notable improvements in a few key areas. It's hard to compare without noting the huge increase in size. If you like the smaller profile of the Pixel 5, then you might not like the new models whatsoever. With a 6.4-inch screen, the Pixel 6 is by no means a small phone by any metric. It's actually one of the largest in the history of the Made by Google smartphone series. This is exacerbated as is the smallest in this late 2021 lineup. The Pixel 5 obviously only being available with a solitary 6-inch screen size option and a substantially smaller footprint than the Pixel 6 means this is if you prefer a smaller phone, then you might be disappointed in the new devices on offer. However, on paper, there are some notable benefits to the new model. You get Google's brand new Tensor chip, which is a major step up over the Pixel 5's Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G. On paper, it benchmarks in or around the same level as the Qualcomm Snapdragon 870, itself an overclocked Snapdragon 865 found on a lot of 2020 flagship or early 2020 flagship devices. The RAM capacities remain the same at 8GB, but the speed and performance do favour the slick UFS 3.1 storage found in the Pixel 6 over the UFS 2.1 storage found on the previous model. In terms of performance, there is a noticeable boost on the newer handset, even for the first time running it. You'll see the biggest benefit here with app loading times and in things like file transfers, and it is apparent when using the phone side by side, which many of you probably won't do anyway. Tensor has other benefits in areas such as image processing and even gaming performance levels, and you may notice even higher frame rates, but the 90Hz displays on the Pixel 5 and Pixel 6 are very similar despite the obvious size and shape differences. That said, the Pixel 6 has a slight edge courtesy of a higher maximum brightness, but the uniform bezels of the 2020 device are definitely more visually appealing. Luckily, both screens are flat, which is definitely beneficial for usability across the board. Design though is a bit more subjective. The Pixel 5 is modest and premium in its own way. It's light, it's clean, and that bioresin finish at the rear is very different to many other smartphones released in the same era. With the 2021 device, it's a return to glass and metal, and they are more prominent, but with hints of classic devices such as the Nexus 6P, the Pixel 2 and even the Pixel 4. Matte side rails meet a glossy two-tone finish with a black camera bar separating the two tones available. The Pixel 6 is also a much heavier and bulkier smartphone than the Pixel 5 as a result of these new materials. This does mean though that one-handed usability with a larger phone is hindered, but Android 12 can offer help with that through an added one-handed mode feature. The late 2021 Google Pixel device also has vastly superior speakers this time and even better on-device haptics. Firstly, the audio is poor on the Pixel 5 because of that under-display speaker. This affects things such as call quality, and although not completely terrible, it just isn't as good as the dedicated earpiece and downward-firing tweeters that are found on the Pixel 6. If you care about audio out of your device, then the Pixel 6 is probably going to be the way to go. Haptics also took a slight dip on the 2020 model, but the Pixel 6 is a return to form with some of the best vibration-based feedback on an Android phone to date. Rounding off the devices, or the hardware on the devices, it's important to note that both come with an IP68 water and dust resistance rating on top. As with any Pixel, it's wrong to say the software is exactly the same on the Pixel 5 as it is on the 6, as although it is similar, that isn't strictly true. The core OS is the same, yes, but the Pixel 6 has a few neat tricks up its sleeve that at present are not available on older Pixel hardware, although they may come in a future Pixel feature drop and OS upgrade. Although running what is effectively the most recent version of Android, it's also worth noting that because the Pixel 5 series shipped with Android 11 pre-installed and it has received one OS upgrade, courtesy of Android 12, it is only eligible for upgrades up to and including Android 14. Conversely, the Pixel 6 will be updated until at least Android 15, at which point support for the Pixel 5 will have already ended in terms of OS upgrades. It's not immediately apparent if some of the exclusive Pixel 6 software features will be back ported to older Pixels, including the Pixel 5. Some of the added camera features and functions are said to rely on the improved Tensor chip for processing and tuning. That said, it might be possible with a future Pixel feature drop, as we have already noted. Android 12 also has a few bugs, which could be addressed with the upcoming Android 12L release. However, the Pixel 6 has a substantial edge over the Pixel 5 in terms of performance, even if the software is more or less identical in the core builds. Many of the new features on the Pixel 6 are found within the camera and associated editing apps, rather than the core software, it must be noted. And although the Pixel 6 has a battery that is nearly 20% larger than the Pixel 5, the battery life gains are a little more nuanced here. The new Tensor chip is based upon a 5nm fabrication process, which is a marginal improvement over the 7nm Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G found at the heart of the Pixel 5, with some associated power consumption gains as a result of that new processor. On paper, the battery life should be far better on the Pixel 6, courtesy of that 4614 mAh battery over the 4000 mAh battery found on the Pixel 5, but some reports online show wild variations in lifespan, but in almost all cases, the Pixel 6 is still an all-day phone in a similar manner to that of the Pixel 5. Where the new model really excels though is in the charge speeds on offer here. The Pixel 6 and 6 Pro now include the fastest charging of any made by Google phone to date. Wired speeds now top out at 30 watts, which although not lightning, is a substantial step up, and while the wireless charging speed has also been boosted to 21 watts, but only with a dedicated Pixel Stand 2, which as of this video going live, is not yet available to purchase. Elsewhere, the Pixel 5 also stacks up fairly well, even despite that smaller battery. The charging speeds are slower, but it is mitigated by the decreased internal cell size. Reverse wireless charging is still capped at 5 watts though across the board on both devices. The Pixel 6 series though signifies the biggest leap in the camera setup on the Pixel series to date, and in conjunction with the return of the Neural Core on Pixel devices, things take a substantial forward step over the previous generations. At the very heart of the new devices is the Samsung GN1 sensor. This 50 megapixel camera sensor means sharper photos, but with added depth and improved natural bokeh effects on your images. While the sensors are improved and the hardware camera layout does look different, the Pixel 5 and Pixel 6 both include a main wide and ultra wide setup. If you want improved zoom capabilities, then you will have to look towards the Pixel 6 Pro. That said, with both devices, 7x digital zoom is available, but with the larger sensor, the Pixel 6 will oust the Pixel 5 quite substantially with digital zoom on offer. The ultra-wide-angle camera though does take a slight bump down from 16 megapixels on the Pixel 5 to 12 megapixels on the Pixel 6. However, that new lens and sensor combination has a slightly wider 114 degree field of view, and although lower resolution, produces fairly similar end results with post-processing. Because the Pixel Neural Core though is included as part of the Tensor chip, processing times are far faster on the Pixel 6 than they are on the Pixel 5. And there are some other benefits to this, as the new features process almost instantly, with real-time HDR effects when recording 4K video also available on the Pixel 6. Video feels like an area that is neglected slightly in favour of photo features on Pixel devices. However, it is worth noting that the overall video capabilities and qualities are improved across the board on the Pixel 6 over the Pixel 5. So if you want video and photo, then you might want to be looking at the newer handset. In summary though, we think if you're happy with the Pixel 5, then no, in our opinion, you should not upgrade to the Pixel 6. However, there are some substantial benefits in the camera, battery, and huge performance leaps as a result of that new chipset. In some areas, the Pixel 5 is the better option for some people though, especially if you like a smaller device or dislike the idea of an in-display fingerprint scanner. It's important to note that upgrading every single year is not cost effective, nor is it good for the planet. The Pixel 5 is still a great smartphone that has improved substantially since its release thanks to software enhancements and Pixel feature drops. With that said though, the Pixel 6 is a substantial step up over its 2020 counterpart in almost all areas, and all without a price hike. Those of you with an older Pixel may also want to upgrade, as you will see the biggest improvements and performance gains. This fits more in line with a 2-year or 3-year upgrade cycle that we usually suggest people stick to for the most gains. Although this year it is a little bit better, as the gains from the Pixel 5 to the Pixel 6 are quite marked. With all that said, it's definitely a much easier year to consider upgrading from an older Pixel to a newer one. If you are thinking of upgrading from the Pixel 5 or even an older Pixel to the standard Pixel 6, do let us know down in the comment sections below why, and then drop a comment down below as what devices you might want to see compared to the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro over the coming weeks. We'd love to get a few more comparisons done with the new handsets. Until next time though, this is Damien with 9to5Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.